Hello there, fellow conspiracy theorists. If, like me, you're always on the lookout for hidden messages and answers, I have compiled a top 10 starter list of movies and TV shows for you to get your teeth into. These are just my top 10 favourites. There are so many more than this. This is an advance warning that there will be spoilers galore. I am not holding back on giving away the plot lines. So get your tinfoil hats at the ready and buckle up. Starting us off nice and easy, we have the original Matrix movie. A real staple of any conspiracy theorist's diet is the first movie in the Matrix series released in 1999. The release date alone is an interesting one. Released the year before the new millennium, when everyone was scared that computers wouldn't be able to cope with the new date range going from 1999 to 2000. At the time it was released, it was really just seen as another action-adventure movie. Good guy, bad guy, and lots of cool fighting scenes. But the story is far more than just another action-adventure movie. The Matrix movie is about computer programmer Thomas Anderson, who works a standard mind-numbing job in an office. By night, he works as a computer hacker and goes by the name Neo. Neo questions his reality and feels that nothing around him is as it seems, a lot like us. Neo becomes targeted by the police when he is contacted by Morpheus, and Morpheus goes on to explain to Neo that we live in a computer simulation and that nothing is actually real. The real us is trapped in a pod generating energy for machines who took over Earth many years ago. The machines keep our brains in a simulation to stimulate the emotions needed to generate energy. Morpheus is one of a small group who have woken up in the pod and become aware that they live in a simulation and need Neo to help them fight the machines. Part of this theory is very similar to something commonly known as the soul trap theory. I'm going to go through that in another video as there's lots to it, and it's one of my favourite theories. Here we go to number 2 is another movie also released in 1999. What a coincidence. This movie is called The 13th Floor and may have slipped under your radar as it did mine. I wasn't aware of it until someone recommended this one to me. I am going to have to spoil the ending to explain why it is a must-watch. This movie is set in the 1990s in Los Angeles and again is based around a computer programmer called Douglas Hall. Douglas has recently taken over the virtual reality company from his predecessor who was recently murdered. The VR company owner left a mysterious note with a barman before being murdered. The premise of the movie is to uncover the meaning behind the note. The film has some Truman Show type scenes, especially when the barman attempts to find out the meaning of the note by following the instructions in it and driving to any city he has never been to before. He finds blocked roads and a wall of computer code at the end of the road. It transpires that the characters are all living in a simulation, and the real them is just code inside a black box that contains the hard drive located on the 13th floor of the building. There is, of course, much talk of black boxes throughout history and religion, and many conspiracies relating to it. If we look at the planet Saturn, there's a black cube at the top. In the Muslim religion, followers of the faith make a pilgrimage to Mecca, where they walk around a big black box. In Judaism, followers of this religion pray with a black cube on their head and arm every day. And last but not least, Christians hold a cross as significant in their faith. And if you fold up a cross, this also makes a cube. But that's another conspiracy we will get into another time. My third recommendation is a very controversial one. Those of you familiar with the Flat Earth and Tartaria theories will no doubt have already heard of this. About 5 years ago, a sequence of videos emerged on YouTube that changed everything in the truther community. It seemed to contain so much more information and answers in one series than any other had in a long time. The YouTube user's name was Ewa Anon, and there were 2 sets of videos. One titled, The Lost History of Flat Earth, and then an even better one titled, What on Earth Happened? A fantastic 13-part series looking at the world around us with fresh eyes. A history of the moon, the sun, the trees and the buildings around us. This content was quickly removed from the platform, but can still be found on BitChute and Rumble. Many other content creators came online to say that Ewa Anon had stolen their research, and many in the truther community went in search of the mysterious narrator. Ewa Anon has never disclosed his identity, but emerged a couple of years later with a YouTube channel titled Flip Flop, which has since also disappeared from the platform, debunking all of his earlier videos, stating none of it was true, and all merely a big conspiracy theory. Many viewers have speculated that perhaps Ewa Anon was coerced into debunking his own work, as it revealed too much information. But I guess we will never know. In at number 4 is a TV show called Westworld. The 2016 TV show is based on a movie from 1973. The premise is based on a playground made for the super rich, where you can pay to live out your every fantasy. Want to kill, grape, abuse, play cowboys and Indians, or be weighted on hand and foot? You can with no repercussions because none of the people in Westworld are human. They are all lifelike robots programmed with advanced scripts. So much so that the robots have no idea they're robots. Of course, eventually the robots start to wake up and realise they are robots. Sound familiar? The eerie similarities between Westworld and how the elites treat us made me question a lot of things. A complete mind screw, and I highly recommend. Halfway through now and hopefully getting those juices going. Marinating in your mind at number 5, we have the cult favourite movie They Live, released in 1988 and starring former wrestler Roddy Piper. This movie, on the face of it, is a completely ridiculous movie with terrible effects. But looking back now on the concept of the movie, it's really eye-opening. Most of us can see the rich and famous of this world are not what they say there are. The premise of the film is around a pair of glasses that show the real world we live in when you put them on, and which of those around us are aliens and which are human. The most poignant scene is a painfully long and drawn-out fight between the main characters John and his friend Frank, who refuses to put the glasses on. I feel like this scene was long, drawn out and painful, as it represents the struggle between those of us who are already awake, and how hard it is to wake others up and get them to even put the glasses on. There's also an urban legend that during the Vietnam War, soldiers reported seeing demons flying around when they put on the night vision goggles, and the glass used for those goggles is no longer available to buy or used in the military. But that's just an urban legend. In at number 6, we have the 1998 movie Dark City. I wasn't sure whether to put this movie on the list, but I think it's an important movie, as it did get me to do a lot of thinking about it after I finished watching it. This movie as a standalone is a terrible movie with terrible effects and moves at a slow pace. It is based on the premise that an alien race who have a single hive mind are using humans to learn about individuality and how to achieve it. Many changes are made to human memories, and the city lives in total darkness, but the humans don't actually realise. Now, some interesting things I have noticed that made me think there is some soft disclosure in this movie is because on TikTok, one content creator pointed out that every single Christmas we all listen to the same Xmas songs over and over and over. It's like out of the thousands and thousands of artists, there's a core 10 Christmas songs, and no one questions this. He is right. Why do we do that? Is that some kind of hive mind implant? Secondly, another TikTok account said they didn't remember Valentine's or Easter 2024. Now, I am married and I have kids, so I usually mark these events with something, but my mind is completely blank around this time. And there was thousands of comments from others saying the same thing. Why can so many people not remember February to April 2024? Weird. Moving swiftly on to the 7th must-watch on the list, is more of a grown-up TV series and standalone, without the conspiracy theory element, is actually pretty good. This 2024 TV show starring Jennifer Connelly follows the journey of Jason Dessen, who works in the field of quantum mechanics and builds a black box. Look at that. What a coincidence, there's our black box again. Our main character Jason goes into this box and injects some kind of formula into his arm, which then allows him to enter the multiverse. Inside the black box of multiverses, there are millions of different versions of him based on different decisions he made over the years. Every decision turns him into a different version of himself, which creates an alternative reality to the one he is on, and thus, just like the butterfly effect, changes the universe he lives in, and by being in the box, he can pick which world to go into and meet that version of himself. I have often wondered if somewhere out there in the multiverse, is there an athletic, confident version of me that works out every day, and I am married to Henry Cavill? My favourite part of the show is that once inside the black box, and faced with the millions of realities to go to, Jason has to think about and manifest the version of reality he wants to go into. This is otherwise known as quantum transurfing, whereby if you think, behave and focus on a different version of you, you then enter that other reality eventually. This is a very liberating theory, as it means we hold the power to become anything we want. Swiftly moving on to number 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, released in 2023. Personally, I am not a fan of this genre of movie, despite how much soft disclosure it contains. However, my radar was going off during this movie non-stop. If, like me, you're into the old world Tartarian buildings, resets, a fake historical narrative, photos of strange humanoid beings in ancient art, this may be something you'd enjoy. The movie focuses on an insanely powerful and cruel being called the High Evolutionary. This being creates worlds and versions of creatures and then destroys them at will. It shows different versions of humans before we became the version we are now. On a side note, if this is a subject you are interested in, and if you haven't already done so, immediately go to YouTube and type in Michelle Gibson and watch the movie Old World Order. I will also link it below for you. We are on the home straight now, and at number 9 is a movie you can only find by typing the website in full directly into your browser. It was taken off of YouTube and there is no trace of it that I can find anywhere else. Now, with fear of having my own videos removed for covering the content or even giving you the title of the video, I can't do that other than show you the visual, which should hopefully help you locate it. What I can say is that the movie uses a documentary format with insiders of the industry discussing the reality of what happens in Hollywood. We made it. Here we are at number 10. The last on the list. If you're still watching, thank you with all my heart. With so many great movies and TV shows to pick from, the last one I've picked purely for the sheer amount of soft disclosure. The show in and of itself is a total dog's dinner, but Stargate, the TV show, all 10 seasons of it, has little gold nuggets in every episode. From the episode where a TV producer is made to disclose evidence of aliens in a TV show, to the Vril controlling the elites using parasites, it's all there. Now we have come to the end. I hope you enjoyed the video and picked up a couple to add to your list. Yes, before you get upset, I know I didn't mention The Truman Show.